Bishnoi is a professor in the Haryana School of Business. He is also the head of the Business Development Group at the same school in Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology, Hisar. In fact, he came all the way from Hisar this morning to take these 2 sessions, So he will be taking 2 sessions on, one is on the sources of funding of entrepreneurial ventures in the first session. And then after the tea break, his second session is on entrepreneurship and venture capital in India. So he's basically a man of finance. He has done his PhD and his pre-qualification in the field of finance only.
PhD in venture capital.
In venture capital. Yes. Okay. So he's I think he's the most relevant person. So with these few words, I welcome you, sir, for coming over here. All the way from Hisar for taking these 2 sessions, and you can start your sessions, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dhameja. Good morning, friends. So we can start right now. So that, as mentioned by Professor Dhameja, our topic would be sources of funding of entrepreneurial ventures. Right? And in my opinion, it's a very relevant and topical topic. Government of India, Modi government, has also been trying to inculcate this habit of entrepreneurial thing in the country. In fact, before reaching this place, I was just talking to Professor Dhameja, and we were discussing that the problem with Haryana and Punjab particularly has been that most of the persons are dependent on agriculture over here. Unfortunately, when you are from village background, many times what happens is a person from village background find it difficult to get a suitable job. Maybe technical competency may be there, but there are certain other issues, soft side is there, cultural issues are there, and because of that sometimes job become slightly difficult, and culturally you find it very difficult to accommodate with the new kind of jobs. So under these circumstances, the best way forward is what Modi government has been trying to do is that you try to shift population from agriculture to non-agriculture activities, and there is only one way for that. I hope you have already been discussing all these issues, and that is if you go into non-agriculture activities. So non-agriculture activities involve all sort of things, including trade, including services, including manufacturing and everything. Here, before I start it formally, I would like to have one slight digression, and not digression, related to this topic. There is a body or institution called GEM. Basically, it's a project. Bobson College, US has started this program. GEM is Global Entrepreneurship Monitoring. It's a project, and it has been there for last almost 20 years, 97 or something like that. It was started in USA, and presently India is also a member for last 15-16 years. Bangalore is the coordinating agency. What this GEM has been doing is that they are mapping, documenting entrepreneurial activity in different countries. Now the definition used by GEM for this entrepreneur is something very, very wide definition, broader one. And that definition says that whether you are a petty shopkeeper or a rickshaw wala or you are a auto rickshaw wala, you are entrepreneur. Because entrepreneur is something who take risk to earn one's living. So that is one definition, right? And if we go by that definition, if we go by the GEM report, you can have it, it's on Google also. If you go by that report, India is a highly entrepreneurial society. India is already an entrepreneurial society, and interestingly, a very counterintuitive argument given by this GEM report is that we try to become entrepreneur, or we become entrepreneur by there are two categories. One is pull factor, Another is push factor. Pull factor, I am a professor, I get better opportunity, I think I can have much, higher salary or status or income, something like that. So I'll join, I'll become entrepreneur. So that is pull factor. I'm not getting any job, I'm desperate, I'm helpless, and still, then I think, why not start some small, petty business, some little business. So that is push factor. Interestingly, in India, most of the business person, most of entrepreneurs are becoming entrepreneur because of push factor. So to this extent, we can agree. But long back, I have been tracking the report now, but around 15 years back, when first time I saw the report, it was mentioned in the report, interestingly, that because in a country where push factor is more prominent, more pronounced, in that country would be more progressive. It looks very strange कि देखो ना भाई अगर जो push factor की वजह who is push factor means you are not getting job, you are not properly qualified, you do not have sufficient resources, you do not have agriculture, you do not you have just nothing to fall back on, and you are compelled to start some business. Now when you start a business, interestingly the report is saying the country would be better off when more persons are becoming entrepreneur because of push factor. So I got puzzled. मैंने कहा भाई क्या इसके पीछे, what can be the reason? So when I explored and explored again, very interesting thing emerged, and you would immediately agree with that. And that was that when you do not have sufficient, you have nothing to fall back on for your livelihood, what can you do? Either you can beg, or you can borrow, or you can steal. Isn't it? You would be frustrated, you would be desperate, you can become a criminal. Sometimes we listen in Haryana, crime is increasing because persons are unemployed. In Punjab, terrorism occurred because most of the persons were unemployed and things like that. So you can become like that. Otherwise, you start begging. But here, it means the positive spirit of life is highly, vibrant and kicking in in India, that most of the persons are joining some businesses because they are not losing hope in their life. They are not losing hope. Similarly, in a sociology, I saw a thing, and you might appreciate it if, the way it's mentioned over there, that most optimistic persons in the world are Biharis who are leaving Bihar in boarded in trains. They do not know where to reach, where to go, what would they do, and still, sir. कोई बात नहीं. अच्छा ये निकाल लिया आपने? निकाल लिया. अच्छा इतने डिस्टेंस कितना अप्रोक्सीमेटली? 260 हो गया. तो 260 कर दीजिए. अपनी टैक्सी है ना, टैक्सी है ना. हाँ जी ठीक है. हाँ ठीक है, थैंक यू. तो है ना इंटरेस्टिंग बात. they are the optimistic persons, and they are the persons we are talking about. So that is one definition, and that's a very comprehensive definition. India is doing very well in that, on that count, as far as entrepreneurial activities are concerned. And this growth rate of 10% GDP, it is the culmination and outcome of those efforts basically. But here we are having a bit slightly, more formal definition over here, and that definition is given by MSME. So this is again on record, so you can have it. Micro enterprises, initially there was, in India there was a SME category, small medium enterprises. In fact, there was only small definition, the technical or legal formal definition was only for small scale industry in the country. There was no definition for medium enterprises. So medium was something that was between small and large. But presently government has a formal definition, and definition is for manufacturing and as well as for service sector. Hope you've done all this. So we can. These are the apex organizations working for this. There is a separate ministry. It has been working for their 16, 17 years. And National Board for MSME has also been established in the country to oversee and guide, direct government, help government, and also direct the MSME sector. These are the organizations. Small Industries Development Organization is again, it's helping small industries. Then National Small Industry Corporation is there, and this basically National Small Industry Corporation has been sourcing the product on behalf of government for different government agencies. So they provide some support, technical support, and also purchase arrangements. Then entrepreneurship institutes are also there. This is you have in Ahmedabad Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship. Then you have National Entrepreneurship and Small Industry Development. NISBUD is there, and other institutes are there. Then you also have SIDBI has been established. We all know about that, and SIDBI Venture Capital Fund has also been established. Then SME rating agencies have also been established. Now there are certain things before we come on the formal things, sources of funding. Most entrepreneurs get their business started by bootstrapping, and bootstrapping is operating business. Generally you would have when business is started at a small scale, then resources would be very difficult to arrange. This is the general problem with almost all businesses. Interestingly, if this is not the problem, that business would not be categorized as a small business. A big business person, a big business house is starting a business, no shortage of resources, even if this scale is small, this would never be categorized as a small scale. So a small scale, always you would see the problem of resource constraint is there. And what is the solution? Interestingly, the solution we study in classroom may be one thing, but most of the business persons, I generally say this thing, that the most smart persons, most smart guys are those who are actually running these businesses. If we see simple this sabji wala, rehdi wala, how one take decision what sabji to purchase, in what quantity, where to go to sell it, what to do once, after evening, how to, dispose of all these things, where to arrange money from, all these are the decisions they take. A very small dhabe wala, what to cook, how to, manage one's cost, and they have been managing their cost very well. So this thing had been documented over here with this, all necessary expenses they try to minimize. They would have minimum borrowing, they would start, basically what do they do is, or what should one do? We can take it like this. If suppose we and you decide to start business, we have had a pretty different type of life. We have not faced those type of constants. So generally when we start business, what happens is, there should be a good office, phone must be there, operator must be there, I am the business person. So these are the things generally ruin the business when you start without having sufficient resources. So generally it is advised, or you can say you take inference from there, that bootstrapping, business successful only and only when bootstrapping is there, or generally it happens. So we would follow this path, and if we start a business, we would try to keep our cost as low as possible. And here the general principle, the academic extract we can get out of it is, your capital blocked in business should be as minimum as possible. Capital blocked in the business should be as little as possible. So if you can have something on lease rather than purchasing a office, you can get it on rent. And similarly, if machine, rather than purchasing the machine outright, you can have it on lease. In Ludhiana, a case study a PhD has been done, a very famous PhD from Ludhiana. So what do they do over there in Ludhiana is, they have very, bare minimum. Even foreigners find it difficult to comprehend how can you reduce your cost to that extent. So how do? They have a machine, they find the part of machine not required for that particular operation would be taken out and sold. They have done it. So they are never going to cover the machine with their, it's bahar ka cover hota na, they would take it off and sell it, because they say they are always short of money and they need money for all these things, so they are getting money in this way. So this is the first thing. Hiring few employees as possible, leasing anything you can, being creative all the time, trying to, because bootstrapping basically is your problem solving approach. Then bootstrapping entrepreneurs can also ask suppliers to allow longer payment terms. I mean, these are the methods, because our topic is today sources of funding. So you can always have, you can ask your suppliers to allow longer payment terms. If money is supplied, some goods are supplied, rather than 10 days, you ask them to make, I mean, you would make payment for 1 month or 3 months or something like this. A customer, you can ask your customers to pay in advance, or sell your accounts to receivables. What is receivables? Receivables are the factor. Factor is agent who handles entrepreneurs account receivables. So basically, if I sell something, a bill is created, I get the bill, this bill discounted with the factor. Factor would give me money today itself, and it would be the headache of the factor to arrange to collect the money from the customer. So in this way, you can get some money, and working capital requirement can be minimized. Then this is the startup money. Very simple. Other resources such as saving, credit cards, loans, investment. Acha. One more interesting thing is there, and that is not mentioned, and that is when you take money from friends, or you take money from, in fact, I say generally to my students when they wish to start some business or start something, that can you get some money from your friends or from your father. Why is that important? It's not that they are giving money out of benevolence or but basically when you go there, you explain to them that I would be starting this thing and they give money. You are selling your business idea to them. And when your friends or your parents or anybody you're close by is giving you money, they will indulge in some type of discussion. So why you want to start? Where would you start? How would you manage the business? How would you return the money? Even if they are not concerned with their the safety of their own money, they are concerned with your well-being. Whether you would be, because they are supporting you. So if they're supporting you, they expect you to be successful in near future or at least in distant future. So this way, when you get the money, and if you sometimes you say that even my close friends, my father is not ready to give me money, and sometimes you say my father has got the money, but he's not giving me the money. What does it mean? It means you have not been able to sell yourself properly. So problem is with you and you and you only. How can you sell yourself? It depends, because there are persons. We have lot of stories. We have there is a this Paytm चल रहा ना आजकल. इस Paytm का जो इन्वेंटर है विजय शर्मा, तो ही इज सो टैलेंटेड. चाइना का रिचेस्ट पर्सन इज आफ्टर हिम मुकेश अंबानी. अभी पीछे कोई उसमें था इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स में, देयर वाज सम फंक्शन इन बॉम्बे, तो मुकेश अंबानी वाज लुकिंग फॉर विजय शर्मा. Where is Vijay Sharma? Where? So everybody was amazed. Mukesh Ambani is looking for Vijay Sharma. And the moment he came across Vijay Sharma, he said, Vijay, come over lunch tomorrow at me.
दोबारा कनेक्शन करोगे?
Now these were the informal sources. Now we come to slightly more formal sources. Banks, finance companies, investment companies, government grants. Now again, all these four things are there. And how do you get the money from these banks? Sometimes you have a lot of difficulty in getting money from banks. Sometimes you get difficulty in getting money from other institutions. So in all the cases, you would have certain guidelines, certain norms, certain things to be followed. And if you are following those things properly, then only you would get the money. Otherwise, money would not be there. So in fact, the problem with at least Indian technical persons is, technical persons in the country are so rigid in our country that when they have some idea, because we people are going to deal with the technical persons, BTech, MTech, even university teachers, college teachers, polytechnic teachers. So they are having technical skills. So technical skill is only one of the dimension. You can have, you see, when this, as far as technical skill is concerned, Bill Gates does not have much technical competency. Allen was much more competent. But what is the quality of Bill Gates that made him Bill Gates? Bill Gates has the quality to sell one's idea to the right person, how to get project orders, and once he get the order, how to get money, how to get right type of persons to execute the project. Once project is executed, how to sell in the market, everything. And that skill is required. Now you can say Sergey Brin and Larry Page, they have started Google. So Google is not a big thing. Google is one of the things. They started Google. Technically, they were very qualified. They were very sound. But more than technology, how could they? I mean, they are running a business where thousands and thousands of persons are there. How do you manage thousands of persons? And they are such a technically qualified and talented, competent persons. Then you are managing them. You are motivating them. You are coordinating them. You are getting negotiating with banks. You are expanding. Then you are arranging some way to get, how to generate revenue from Google's activities. All these things, when you combine together, then it becomes a business. So that big picture you will have to have in your mind. Unfortunately, what happens is, I have seen this thing. Professor Ramija was saying, I am a man of finance. Honestly speaking, I am not a man of finance. I am a person of strategic management. So in strategic management, you have a sustainable business. For sustainable business, you need everything. And money is one of the part. So my focus is on money. Yes, that is true. But the money is always with the perspective of strategic dimensions. When sustainably you can run your business, you can manage your business. So in strategically, what happens is, you need to prove that you would remain competitive in the long run. And when focus shift from money to competitiveness, then you would see, okay, when bank is saying that you should observe these things, why bank is insisting on? Because it's insisting because money is safe for bank, money is safe for you and everybody. So these are the requirements of banks and financial companies, investment of things. As far as government is concerned, government is a different ball. In case of government, they have certain non-objectives. So first thing, we'll have some detail over, next slides. But here it is first to say that when you approach a bank or any institution, you must first find out what is their objective or their mission, what type of activities do they fund, what type of, when you are in crisis, how are they going to support you, or they would be the first one to come and get their, pound of flesh out of it. Now, sources of equity financing. So first, one is equity capital, and we all know what is equity capital, owner's capital, risk capital basically it is. And when we part with equity, we invite somebody to join my business, and for that we get the money, partnership you can say. Now equity funding is also sometimes called risk capital. Now in risk capital, why we call it risk capital? देखो सर, जो पैसा तो ऑनर का है, लेकिन पैसा तो सारा ही ऑनर का है, जो भी बिजनेस। नहीं, ये तो अभी ये सब बातें हमें करनी है कि यही सब बात है आज कि इक्विटी के लिए भी, इवन फॉर इक्विटी यू कैन गेट मनी फ्रॉम बैंक्स. वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग्स आर देयर. एंड फॉर इक्विटी यू कैन गेट मनी फ्रॉम अदर्स. तो जब मनी आपको कोई और दे रहा है तो पैसा तो उसका था और आपका कैसे हो गया? क्योंकि देखिए साहब, जनरली देखिए, मैं आपको थोड़ा सा ब्रीफ कर दे जो ये अभी डिस्कशन में आता. द पर्पज ऑफ दिस प्रेजेंटेशन इज दैट यू डू नॉट हैव द मनी and you wish to have a business, you have something very strong, you feel something strongly in your mind that you can run a business successfully, and you do not have the money, you do not have the resources. If there is nothing with you except the idea, my job is to here to discuss. It's not a lecture, you people are very mature and I mean senior one, so we can discuss things, but the focus should be this, that if I do not have the money and I have the idea, can it still be possible I can run a business? Can I have a proper business? How can I build a business? So if that is the basically the purpose over here, right? Otherwise तो देखो क्या होता कि किसी के पास छोटे मोटे पैसे, उसने पैसे लिए जाके स्टार्ट कर दिया काम को, तो वही कहा 100 रुपए, तो 100 रुपए का बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर दिया, 1000 रुपए तो 1000 का बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर दिया. तो हम यहाँ पे जो बात कर रहे हैं बेसिकली द थिंग इज कि सपोज कोई बीटेक स्टूडेंट है, कोई एमटेक स्टूडेंट है, या आप लोग टीचर हैं या मैं टीचर हूँ. अब हमें लगा अचानक में बैठे बैठे कि यार हम औरों को बताते थे, हमारे पास तो बहुत अच्छा आइडिया है. अब आइडिया शुरू करने के लिए तो हमें कितना चाहिए? 1 करोड़, 10 करोड़, 20 लाख, 50 लाख, समथिंग अमाउंट, इवन 10 लाख चाहिए. अब 10 लाख रुपया तो हो सकता है आप लोगों के पास हो, मेरे पास तो नहीं है. है ना? और 10 लाख रुपया अगर जो मान लो हम गाड़ी बेच के लगाएंगे अभी, तो वो घर में झगड़ा हो जाएगा, सारा शोर मच जाएगा कि भाई ये आप तो बर्बाद कर दोगे पैसे को. तो अंडर दोस सर्कमस्टांसेस व्हाट आर द ऑप्शंस विद अस? तो बूटस्ट्रैपिंग की बात हमने पहले बता दी कि भाई उसमें क्या है. बूटस्ट्रैपिंग बेसिकली मींस कि हम प्लानिंग ऐसी करें कि व्हेन वी आर प्लानिंग एट द स्टेज ऑफ प्लानिंग, जो हमने कहा कि कैपिटल, देखो क्या होता है, एक होता बड़ा आसान सा कि व्हेन बिजनेस स्टार्ट रनिंग यू आर गेटिंग सम मनी एंड एक्सपेंडिंग द मनी, दैट यू कैन मैनेज. But the more difficult is that you have invested 10 lakh, 50 lakh, 1 crore rupees and business is not starting. So you are bust with 1 crore rupees. So that is to be avoided. So that is why a sensible person would always start business in father's garage. जैसे सुनते हैं ना, सिलिकॉन वैली यूएसए में चलता है कि भाई इसको जितने बड़े बड़े टेक्नोलॉजी बिजनेसेस हैं, all started generally with garage. Why started in garage? Because they could save money, because they did not have the money at that time. So that is the first requirement. Then equity. And now first thing is, for equity can we get money from others? Yes, we can get money for others. When money is given by others, how can it be called my money? That is a very interesting thing. It is legally others have given you money on the terms you agreed with them. Please listen. When you get money from others, money is given to you with some terms and agreement, terms and conditions. So you would be fulfilling those terms and conditions, and that person is also taking risk in that way. But generally, when somebody give you money, some return, and the return of money along with its rate of interest is predetermined. Please note this word, predetermined. In case of risk capital, nothing is predetermined. So ये जो predetermined word है, ये केवल और केवल ऑनर के ऊपर अप्लाई होगा, और उसी का वो बिजनेस का जो है, इसको हम बोलते हैं that would be the owner of the business. उसी को सारा नुकसान होगा, सारी जिम्मेदारी होगी, एंड ऑल प्रिविलेजेस होंगे, सारा प्रॉफिट होगा. भाई फोन आप लोग रखते हैं तो जरा ठीक रहता, पीछे देखना जरा सर, ऐसे तो अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. नहीं फोन तो प्लीज आप, है ना, क्योंकि अब मान लो हम बोलते रहे, आप लोग का इंटरेस्ट नहीं, तो फिर तो फोन प्लीज आप लोग बिल्कुल. हाँ, दिस क्योंकि इतने सीनियर लोगों से ज्यादा अच्छा भी नहीं लगता, है ना, प्लीज, है ना. ये एक जनरल सी बात हो गई. पर्सनल सेविंग, फ्रेंड्स, private investors, they are private investors. Then you can get partners, venture capitalist, state sponsored. इसे साइलेंस पे कर दो. अच्छा, तो अब सोर्सेस ऑफ इक्विटी फाइनेंसिंग अभी हम बात कर रहे थे, तो वी नाउ कम ऑन दैट. वन इज एंजल फाइनेंसिंग. Angel is a private, non-professional investor. It can be present, I mean, this is one of the definition which I have mentioned over here, but mainly the persons with high net worth, not high net worth, the persons having money, surplus money, and if a person with surplus money come forward to give you money for equity purpose, that is basically called angel capital. And presently in India, Indian Angel Network, IAN, you visit the website and you would see thousands and thousands of persons have already become networking on net takes place. So they are member, and if they are inviting projects from students and with so many persons, you go and present their project. If they find it worthwhile, they can become partner. So basically, angel become partner in your business. Angel become they supply money. They also help you in certain other ways, if possible, if required. And initially, how it started was, are you in the class or?
No, sir.
You are. Achha. So, angel basically, what was the case was, suppose Sabir Bhatia is a very famous person who invented the email. Hotmail was invented by Sabir Bhatia. So, Sabir Bhatia invented email in 1996 and 94. So, after that, he commercialized it and made it highly successful. Hotmail. Free of cost service was there, and globally it was available and everything. So, after 2 years, Microsoft purchased Hotmail. So when Sabir Bhatia started, it hardly took $1 lakh. He took it from somebody, some angel investor, and he started the business. Only $1 lakh in 94. In 96, when he sold his business to Bill Gates, it was $200 million. $200 million. So this was the multiple of increase. So when Sabir Bhatia got the money, he became an angel investor. So Sabir Bhatia said, I have got 200 million surplus money. Some money I would keep for myself. The remaining $100 million, say, I would, if somebody come forward with the project and they present their project to me, I can become their partner, because I know in this type of technology businesses, I can earn a lot of money and I can also help you. So basically that is angel. But that is one thing. Another is anybody with coming forward with one's money to help you to become partner or finance you for equity purposes, called angel. And they are generally business associates. They also help you in business. They are not simply giving money. They are not partner, by the way. It's a bit confusing. They are not partner as such. They give money. They allow you full freedom. But when you are in trouble or they feel something you are doing really bad or something, they can call you and say, don't do like this or something like this. Now, again, sources of equity financing. An existing business can use venture capital financing to raise large amount of money to achieve its goal. Right? What is venture capital? It is source of equity financing for small businesses with exceptional growth and future potential. So here, because my next topic is venture capital financing. So here only this much I would say, that venture capital is a professional money available to you to manage your, to run your business, and they can give you money from 1 lakh rupee to 1,000 crore rupees. Money is no bar for them. They are very highly leveraged persons. Only requirement is they expect very high rate of profit. So they are, as we, I mean, the only how do this venture capital actually operate is the way we get, I mean, we go to market, then stock exchange, we buy share with the hope that tomorrow it will increase. So venture capitalists are betting on your businesses that tomorrow it would succeed and they would be successful, right? And they expect 50%, 100% growth per annum from the businesses. And interestingly, they are getting a lot of projects. They are highly successful. They are also getting, I mean, successful projects. So venture capital is a very interesting and exotic area. Venture capital, when they give money, they also provide you, as angels were doing, they are also doing this thing. They provide managerial support, they provide you technical expertise, because many times technical expertise is required. Okay? They invest money in professionally. One thing here which I would like to also mention is, they also provide you one very interesting thing. I have been working on that topic today, these days, that is reputational capital. Sir, what is reputational capital? Means they provide you reputation. Suppose you start a business and Ratan Tata decide to give you only and only 1 lakh rupee. But you say, sir, Ratan Tata has invested my company. I am starting this thing. Ratan Tata has vetted my project. So it would have a lot of weight. So immediately you get reputation. So generally what happens is, small businesses, भाई फोन की बड़ी बीमारी है यार. आप झगड़ा कराओगे मेरा और कुछ नहीं. ऐसा क्या है यार? मेरे को ज्यादा में तो पता नहीं लगता. अब तो 4-5 तो लोग हैं, आप इतनी शांति से बैठे तो बड़ा मुश्किल होता है ना कोई बात करना. तो प्लीज थोड़ा सा है ना ऐसे अपना टाइम निकालते हैं. नहीं कोई इंटरेस्ट हो तो कोई और बात कर लेते हैं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. बोलो. चलो थैंक यू. Great.
We are also doing some business simultaneously.
Oh my God. Immediately taking, I mean, applying all this.
No, we started long time ago.
Oh, good. So we can get. What business you run?
No, I cannot disclose right now. I have to talk to you personally.
चलो ठीक है. Now, this is sources of debt financing. Debt means the money you get today is to be returned with rate of interest. Now, sources of, and this is, yesterday I was thinking whether to keep it here or not, but I decided to have it with the reason that trade credit is there, that then your banks, then commercial, then your minority, all these are in India, but these two things are not in India, they are in USA. So I have taken them as it is with the purpose. Small business investment companies. So in fact, in India, instead of these things, we had actually, now they are no more giving money. It was Haryana Finance Corporation, Punjab Finance Corporation, then your UP Finance Corporation, Madhya Pradesh Finance Corporation, है ना, HFC जैसे हरियाणा बोलते हैं. So these were the bodies created in India on the pattern of, I mean, to help small businesses in the country with loan, and even they were also giving equity, but generally for loans. In place of them, in USA there is a separate system, and that is called SBIC scheme. So that is very interesting, and someone can start a business out of it, and someone can suggest to the government. There is another thing. So what is the business over here? How how this SBIC work is that SBIC basically have private money. A private person with suppose money comes, like mutual funds, they raise money from various sources, the person who have surplus money, so they will invest in SBIC, like the way we put our money into mutual funds. So 80% money SBIC manager would arrange for by themselves. Remaining 20% money would be given by the HFC like institution or government. So the government would give them money only and only when they are observing, following certain guidelines given by the government, that you would give money, you would give loan to this type of activities, you would, you would follow my guideline. So once this SBIC agree to follow government guidelines, they get 20% money from government, that is subsidized money, and the remaining 80% money they arrange from market, and again that is, tax, some exemption on taxes are also there in return. So this SBIC money, now how this scheme works, why this scheme is better? Interestingly, this scheme is better in USA because government has given only, suppose 20 rupees, 80 rupees you arranged, and public, the businesses would get 100 rupees, number one thing. So this way 100 rupees is available. Now, if you give money on the basis of political support or some other consideration, or money considerations or any other consideration except business, your money would not be safe. And when your money is not safe tomorrow, you would not be in a position to return the money. You would lose reputation, you would lose all your business in the market. So because you are taking money from the market, you are forced, you are compelled to give your money, lend your money prudently. So this way, they have designed a system where businesses are getting money, sufficient money, and there is no hanky-panky or corruption or political or otherwise no considerations. So this is the, SBIC. SBA is the administration that also give money directly. SBA through SBA, government give money directly. Government run this scheme, but again, system is same. Now, banks primary source of operating, but today much more conservative. Banks were, there was a time when banks were giving money for operating capital. Now what has happened? You go to bank and you will many times find it difficult to get the money from banks. So how you convince the bank? That is another issue. I have already mentioned this thing that in banks, I have not, initially I had all the schemes, but I thought all those schemes are available on website of the banks. Guidelines are also there, conditions are also there. And only, you see here only and only one thing. The thing is that when you wish to start a business, in your business, Dhirubhai Ambani was so successful in life, there was only one condition. Dhirubhai Ambani never ever thought that how would he arrange the money, and even Mukesh Ambani never think on that line. This is a very strange model of business in the country, and they are highly successful. Bill Gates has done, in US a lot of persons have done this, but in India there is only one Ambani, and that is Dhirubhai Ambani and now Mukesh Ambani. These two persons, what Dhirubhai Ambani do was, he conceptualized, he conceived a great business. And once a business is great, he would approach a bank. If bank is ready to give money, well, fine, good. Otherwise, he would approach international agencies, he would approach other partners, he would approach the machine and technology suppliers that you see my business and you become partner. He would arrange any sort of agreement with those persons, but he would succeed. So, Dhirubhai Ambani always had sustainability, competitiveness of one's business in mind, and that type of conceptualization of project was there, and on the basis of that they were getting. Now, the thing is, once you have that good business plan with you, once a business plan is there, our job is that you explore whether these banks have a scheme or not. If you start exploring, rather than you, generally what happens is, we depend on CA, we depend on some outside expert. Rather than that, if you directly try to find out, if you try to explore, you discuss with CA, you discuss with other experts, but you you start exploring, you talk to banker, you talk to some other persons. If you start doing, you would see in India also number of bank schemes are there. I give you an example. Around 10 years back, I have been delivering these type of lectures, so I had some information schemes. So I suggested to someone in Noida that National Equity Fund scheme Government of India has started, and under that scheme, all government banks or private banks are giving loan for equity to private persons, and that amount was up to 40 lakh rupees. Up to 15 lakh rupee amount was collateral free. So when I suggested this thing to a business person, he went to a bank, one bank, two banks, actually 5-6 banks, and all banks refused to give money to them. Then he approached his CA. His CA also came back and said, nothing doing, no bank is having such a scheme. Then I requested a very senior official of the bank from Bhopal, he sent me the paper. I sent those papers to. So ultimately he could get that loan. Now, why were the bankers not giving that? Why bankers were not ready to give that money to that person? Because the rate of interest in that is, not rate of interest, administrative charges of 3% are only there. You get 15 lakh rupees without collateral and only 3% administrative charges. So bankers told me, when I personally talked to a manager, he said कि सर जो भी इसमें लोन लेता वो पैसा वापस नहीं करता, और बिकॉज पैसा वापस नहीं करते तो बैंक मैनेजर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जाती है कि तुमने क्यों दिया. अब हिंदुस्तान का कानून कैसा है? इंडिया का कानून ये है कि साहब मैंने कहा कि मैंने तो देखो जी एलिजिबिलिटी पूरी कर दी, मुझे पैसा दो. अब होना क्या चाहिए कि इन एडिशन टू एलिजिबिलिटी ए बैंक मैनेजर शुड बी इन ए पोजीशन टू असेस योर प्लान एंड योर कैरेक्टर. नाउ आई गिव यू अनदर एग्जांपल. अभी एक हमारे यहाँ पे एक नॉट प्रेजेंटली, बहुत पुरानी बातें हो गई. तो वो ही वाज ए मैनेजर इन सिंडिकेट बैंक हिसार. ही लेफ्ट द जॉब, ही ज्वाइंड ए ग्लोबल चाइना ट्रस्ट बैंक इन अर्ली 2000. एंड वन डे उनका फोन आया हमारे पास में. मैं पेपर पढ़ाता था, सोशल कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस. तो बाई चांस हम फ्रेंड थे, तो ही वाज मेकिंग, मेरी मजाक उड़ा रहे थे बैठे हुए, यार इस पेपर की क्या जरूरत है, सोशल कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस की कौन पढ़ता है इसको. तो मैंने कहा चलो हमारे यूनिवर्सिटी में होता, हमने पढ़ा लेते हैं. तो लेकिन मैंने उनसे कहा था भाई ये जो है, एक तो फाइनेंशियल वायबिलिटी होती है प्रोजेक्ट की, वन इज फाइनेंशियल वायबिलिटी, देन इज इकोनॉमिक वायबिलिटी, देन इज सोशल वायबिलिटी. तो व्हाट इज इकोनॉमिक वायबिलिटी? इकोनॉमिक वायबिलिटी इज कि जैसे धीरूभाई अंबानी यूज्ड ऑल द टाइम दिस, एक तो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव प्राइस में गवर्नमेंट ने कहा कि पेट्रोल हम 10 रुपए में सेल करेंगे, लेकिन इकोनॉमिक प्राइस पेट्रोल का है 12 रुपए. तो आपने कहा कि व्हेन इकोनॉमिक प्राइस, जब गवर्नमेंट इसको खत्म कर देगी अपना प्राइस कंट्रोल को, एट दैट टाइम 12 रुपए होगा. और फिर मैंने एसेस किया कि अगले 5 साल में गवर्नमेंट या 10 साल में गवर्नमेंट कंट्रोल खत्म कर देगी. तो आज मैं स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ बिजनेस, 10 साल तक तो 10 रुपए प्रॉफिट होगा, 10 रुपए का कॉस्ट होगा, मतलब रेवेन्यू आएगा. एंड आफ्टर 10 years माय रेवेन्यू कैन गो अप 12 rupees or 15 rupees. So on the basis of that calculation, I started a business. On the other hand, sometime it can be कि साहब जब तक गवर्नमेंट सपोर्ट कर रहा है, my rate is 10 rupees. The moment government is out, my rate can go down to 2 rupees. So my business would not be competitive. I should not be in that business. So these are economic analysis. Social cost benefit analysis is more comprehensive. Techniques are there. तो उनका नाम चलो नहीं बताना होता किसी का. तो उनका फोन आया मेरे पास में, बोला साहब वो किताब मुझे चाहिए और मुझे थोड़ा सा समझाओ. मैंने कहा भाई क्या हो गया? अब सुनिए ध्यान से जो यहाँ इसकी प्रॉब्लम आता है. उन्होंने कहा कि भाई माई इज ए प्राइवेट बैंक एंड आई हैव बीन गिवन अ वेरी सीनियर पोजीशन. इन 2000 ही वाज अलाउड टू ग्रांट लोन ऑफ अप टू 20 crore rupees. और कहता कि भाई एक नीचे मेरे आदमी को आएगा, वो केवल ये चेक करेगा कि ऑल डॉक्यूमेंट्स आर फुल कंप्लीट, वो उसके सिवा एक्सेप्ट दिस नथिंग डूइंग. Only and only that manager was supposed to make decision within 24 hours to give money or not to give money. अब उसने कहा सर हमारी समझ ये नहीं आ रहा कि जब डॉक्यूमेंट्स पूरे हैं तो हम क्या करें. मैनेजर की प्रॉब्लम हो गई ना, डॉक्यूमेंट तो पूरे हो गए बैंक में, तो बैंक मैनेजर डॉक्यूमेंट पूरे इंडिया में तो लोन मिल जाएगा. अब उसने कहा चाइना ट्रस्ट बैंक कहता है कि नहीं साहब आप यू आर रेस्पॉन्सिबल. तो बोला जी मुझे करना क्या है नंबर एक. तो उसे बता दिया कि योर जॉब इज टू असेस द कॉमर्शियल profitability, viability of this project in the long run. Suppose you are giving money for 7 years, so in next 7 years जो इसके profit projections हैं, would it be able to meet those profit projections or not? You will have to make a judgment on that, and you will have to write a detailed your judgment on that. What I feel, if suppose he says my sale would be 100 rupee per annum, whether one can meet the sale of 100 rupee or not, what his rivals are doing, what is their price, what is technology, where he get the raw material. So a job of a bank is all these things, and unfortunately our bankers are also not that, because they are never compelled to do all these things. So still you will have NPS. Why NPS are there in the country? NPAs are there because a फोन आया ऊपर से मिनिस्टर का कि साहब इसको लोन दे दो, लोन दे दिया, कल को नहीं चल रहा तो मिनिस्टर तो क्या करे, मिनिस्टर तो था ही नहीं कहीं, अब लोन वापस नहीं हो रहा तो एनपीए क्रिएट हो गया. तो बैंक को क्या करना था, जो दुनिया का जो बैंकर्स का क्या था भाई, उसकी एक्सपर्ट कमेटी होती है, वो बताते कि इसमें ये लोन देने से हमें मतलब इसकी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी कितना है, कॉस्ट कितना है, राइवल्स कितना चल रहे हैं, इनकी टेक्नोलॉजी आउटडेटेड तो नहीं है. Everything was to be recorded and on the basis of that it was to be given. Similarly, जब आपने उसकी बात की, हमने नेशनल इक्विटी फंड की, तो नेशनल इक्विटी फंड में भी ये काम होना था कि आपने कहा कि डॉक्यूमेंट छोड़ो सर, इस आदमी का बिजनेस जो है इस लायक नहीं है कि चल सके, इसलिए हम नहीं दे रहे. तो ये जब ये चीज हो जाएगी, देन ओनली यू विल गेट द फंडिंग. अब ये चीज वाई, पहले तो हम 10 साल पहले जब ये बात कहते थे तो nobody was interested. Now this has become lot of more important in the sense that presently, in addition to government banks, a number of private banks are coming, and private banks are having this approach. They would give you money when they are convinced that your business is going to be profitable. Please remember that banks generally do not give you money on the basis of your collateral. कोलेटरल के बेसिस पे लोन नहीं मिलते कभी दुनिया में. इंडिया इज द ओनली कंट्री जहां अभी भी कोलेटरल के बेस पे लोन मिलता है. कोलेटरल के बेस पे लोन मिलने में क्या नुकसान है सर, जिसपे पैसा, जब कोलेटरल है ही मेरे पास में तो मैं बैंक से क्या करूंगा पैसे लेके है ना. तो इसका मतलब इंडिया में तो केवल पैसे वाला पैसे कमा सकता है, और पूरी दुनिया में बैंक इसलिए बनाए गए थे जिसमें पैसा नहीं है वो भी कमा सके. तो ये आपकी एक रिक्वायरमेंट हो जाती है. टाइम हो गया क्या? चलो थोड़ा स्पीड से चलते हैं. Now established businesses can get line of credit. What is line of credit? You arrange with somebody that they can give you some money for some time. It can be a supplier, it can be a banker, it can be anybody. When money is required, you have the assurance that money would come. This is the arrangement. Then trade credit, we have already mentioned. The trade credit, you are having trade with somebody, and sometime when you have to make payment, they can give you extended time. When your customer is there, they can give you advance. So this way, this can also be a method. Now, financial planning involves finding right kind of financial resources at the right time in the right amount. Financial planning involved, we have most of the things we have already discussed, but still this is important, because generally what happens is, I was giving a lecture to a CA on these things, and he said, sir, what is new over with you, because we have been doing this all the time. हम तो हमारे पास में software are ready. Within next 10 minutes, you give me how much loan you need, and I will put in figures in my software, and immediately your project report would come out. Bank would give money from that. So when things are so standardized, why you are wasting your time and my time by having a discussion on कि बैंक लोन में क्या होता है? इसमें कह रहा आपका तो काम ही नहीं है, तो सीए का काम है, मैं कर देता हूं. तो उसमें क्या गड़बड़ है सर? That is most risky and dangerous thing. Why? Because अगर जो आप फ्रॉड करके बिजनेस चलाना, मतलब पैसा लेना था बैंक से, then that is all right. But if you genuinely wish to run a business successfully, you need to be very sure yourself that that business would be successful, run in future. So because that is required. So you, before you approaching a banker or any outside person, whether your father or your friend, for help, first you should know that my business would be successful in future or not. So how can you be sure about that? That is mentioned over here. Identifying the stages of growth in your business. Now, ये हम वेंचर कैपिटल में भी बात करेंगे, लेकिन वेंचर कैपिटल इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग हियर, इट्स इन अ डिफरेंट वे. यू सी, व्हेन यू स्टार्ट अ बिजनेस, इंडिया में बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि जैसे ही आपका बिजनेस स्टार्ट, देखिए इंडिया की बात छोड़ के उससे पहले देखें हम लोग, व्हाई पावर ऑफ knowledge, power of idea is so important. Suppose today we are discussing and we say here that I am starting a business for first 3 years. I would be having cash losses in my business because its nature is such. Because you know that I have invested 10 lakh rupees. First year, my loss would be 5 lakh. Next year, my loss would be 2 lakh. Then my loss would be 1 lakh. So because you already know it, so you would arrange 8 lakh rupees additional from some sources because you know that for first 3 years, I have to burn my cash. If you do not understand that stages are something, and you say, oh, I started my business and in first year itself, it's 5 lakh loss. So you would, loss is 5 lakh, investment was 10 lakh rupees, some employees were also there, you were also there, efforts were also there, and you would withdraw immediately, you would panic. So because of this thing, you would be surprised to learn that this Airtel company, Bharti Airtel, they had thousands and thousands of crore rupee loan, and from 1994 to almost next 10, 11, 12 years, up to 2006, they continued to incur losses. First 12 years, they suffered heavy losses. I do not call it suffer, they incurred losses, in fact, proper word, because they knew that initially they would have some losses. And despite losses, share market, their share was increasing because they knew share price reflect future profitability. So they knew that this business is for 100 years, for 50 years, first 10 years loss and remaining 40 years, very high profit. So with that hope, the bankers, the financiers were helping them. Sunil Mittal was happy and shareholders were also happy. So this is the meaning of stages of growth. And now in the stages of growth, another dimension is there. Suppose somehow you can get over this loss period and now you start profit period. So in profit period, suppose you take the again Airtel. So Airtel started in 2006, lot of profit, 2014-15. Now market is maturing. So once market start maturing, you say my growth was 30%, my growth was 40%. And all of a sudden, in 2015, growth is from 40% to 10%. Again, you panic, oh my God, what has happened to my business? Now from 40 to 10, next year it may be negative. So you must know in advance that how market behave according to market plan. You plan your business in such a way that I mean how much money is required, why it is required, and things like that. So stages of growth you recognize, then identifying milestones. Milestones are something very important. First is technical details you have freezed for your project, then financial details you have freezed your project, then you date of starting the business, you have started business. Then suppose you say for first 3 years I would be incurring losses, but after 3 years I must be cash neutral. So if after 3 years your cash continue, first year you have 100 rupee loss, second you have 120, then you have 150. So it is against your milestone, because milestone was saying that initially you would have higher losses, then gradually it will reduce and it will come down to 0 after 3 years. So this is a milestone. You say milestone national, would be selling 100 units per day or something like this. So those milestones you decide. Because of these milestones, basically, you are sure that your business is on right track. Okay, advisors are always required to run a business successfully. Now, one thing we have not discussed so far is that we are talking about small businesses that have the potential to grow big and that are supposed to ultimately grow big. In India, I was advisor to a small scale industry association in Faridabad, and they were so unhappy with me that they झगड़ा हो गया हमारा उनसे. Only thing I said in a lecture was, उन्होंने बुलाया किसी फंक्शन में हमें, तो I said कि भाई you are saying that I started my business in 60s, some saying I started my business in 70s, and you are taking pride that I started small, I am still small. Why are you small? Why can't you grow big? This is a very valid question. But they took it otherwise. So it's their choice. The point is, no business in this world is there that cannot grow beyond a point. You can say retailers परचूनिया की दुकान, Walmart is the biggest परचूनिया की दुकान. They have got the potential. You say restaurant, eateries is very difficult to run. You see, again, you find MACD having 50,000 outlets all over the world. So it need only and only management, your competency to expand your business. And we are talking about the things, how can you expand your business? These things are only and only for them. Venture capitalists rarely invest in startup companies, but when they do, they expect, we have already mentioned this thing, 70% returns. In early stage, they decide stages, they expect 50% or more return. A business with good management. And angel expect businesses they understand. This is important. That's why I said Sabir Bhatia would invest in only IT businesses, right? And somebody having biotechnology understanding would invest only and only in biotech businesses. So that is something very interesting and useful, because if I want to start IT business, I can approach Sabir Bhatia. If I want to start biotech business, I can approach somebody like Kiran Majumdar. Investing with like-minded. Generally, angel investor would not be alone. So if I wish to invest, I would try to create a syndicate or some other friends so that we have some common views on business. They expect if I have invested 100 rupees, I must get after 5 years at least 1,000 rupees. This is the expectation. Why is this important? Because when you approach them, you must know that this would be their requirement. If you fulfill their requirement, only then you would get the money. Then they also expect a strong management team. And that's why I said, if I am a technical person, nobody is going to help me. If I got a wonderful idea, nobody is going to help me. I need a team that can implement that project. Then bankers expect C for character, C for capability and capacity, then capital, then collateral, and then conditions. In conditions, these details are there. I would like to skip all those things. In conditions, what type of business conditions are there, and what type of conditions your business is there. Character. Now you see, in India it's not important, but I have started emphasizing on this because in our country also this thing is coming forward. And if Raghuram Rajan would have remained there as a Reserve Bank governor, next 2 years you would have seen it. Now it would take 5 years, but within 5 years all our banks would be, having a lot of, your integrity, your character. And for financial transactions, it's a must. If you are not paying your telephone bill in time, it is recorded in your financial integrity and it's reported for bank purposes. Then capacity, capability or ability. Then capital, net worth, how much money you have. Collateral, we all understand. Conditions, I have already mentioned. Type of growth financing, these are additional things. Private placement, venture capital, my business, you are venture capital, I go to you, get money, you become my partner, you give me money. Private placement, you are not venture capital, I go to mutual funds or any LIC and I park my share with them and they subscribe those shares, it become private placement. Merchant bankers do it. Then IPO, I directly approach public through stock exchange. Then due diligence is basically, it's not for venture capital only. Anybody who wish to invest in your business, they would have due diligence. They would have to have an audit, administrative audit maybe there, something like this. What actually you are claiming is true or not. Then only somebody would come to you. Now this is, if you wish, I can devote 1 or 2 minutes. Elevator approach. Basically, elevator approach is a term used in Silicon Valley, and this is, suppose in an elevator you are there and by chance some venture capitalists come, because these venture capitalists are very, mysterious persons. In next chapter we will discuss, if 100 persons go to them, they hardly give money to one person, and they are very bad tempered. So here यहाँ visualize किया किसी ने कि साहब मैं एलिवेटर में हूँ, अचानक मैं वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट उसमें घुस जाता है जिसे मैं ढूंढ रहा था, अब 25वें फ्लोर से हमें नीचे आना है या यहाँ से ऊपर जाना, तो 1 मिनट है मेरे पास में, अब मैं अपनी बात इसे कैसे बताऊं सो दैट कि वो इंटरेस्टेड हो जाए मेरे बिजनेस में. तो ये वो कहते हैं कि ये इन बातों का ध्यान रख लें। तो बेसिकली द पर्पज इज कि दिस इज द क्रक्स ऑफ द थिंग्स यू मस्ट अपने बिजनेस में क्या रखना था। देखो ये एक और बात है बिजनेस की इंपॉर्टेंस में भी ना, व्हाट आर द मोर critical components. Describe the opportunity or problem that need to be solved. This is the first thing. What exact problem you have in your mind to solve? Means never talk about I know this IT application or this that IT application or this business or that business. Nobody is interested in your business. They are interested. I have got solution to this issue, this problem. If I do this, this would be the benefit immediately. So pay time. Payment can be made like this. I have something. You second, product service need opportunity or solve the problem. Means what is the problem and how can you solve this problem? Then describe your qualifications. Then how can I be sure that you such a technical thing you can do? You say I am this. That is why I feel I can do it. And then describe your market. Market is also important. What is the market where you feel you can help? So when you have 4 things in your mind, then you can take the benefit of chance meeting. मेरे ख्याल से एलिवेटर हमारा वेंचर कैपिटलिस्ट वास्ता नहीं पड़ता, पॉलिटिशियन से तो सभी का पड़ता होगा। तो पॉलिटिशियन के साथ में तो 2 ही सेकंड मिलते हैं, वो काम की बात करनी नहीं पड़ती।
Do you watch Shark Tank?
हैं?
Shark Tank प्रोग्राम आता है, Colors Infinity का।
ना मैं नहीं देखता।
I think you should watch it on YouTube.
अच्छा
Today itself.
अच्छा,
Shark Tank.
नहीं जरूर देख लेंगे, पर आप उसकी वजह बताइए थोड़ी।
What you are talking? Elevator speed. So a proposer comes with idea for funding. There are 6 venture capitalists sitting, and he offers his plan for equity, 10% equity or 20% equity of already startup business. आप देखना प्लीज।
चलो ठीक है,
शार्क टैंक
देख लेंगे, क्योंकि अब तो इंडिया में भी इस टाइप के प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट हुए कुछ कि भाई अपना यू प्रेजेंट योर आइडिया एंड ऑन द स्पॉट ऑन टीवी चैनल इटसेल्फ somebody can fund it. देखा मैंने, इंडियन में नहीं है पर हाँ श्योर। देखो ये एक चीज है, आप लोग सारे समझदार हैं, कई बार डिस्कशन में ज्यादा अच्छी बातें होती। द पॉइंट इज नॉट कि भाई यहाँ ये है कि कोई ना मिले हमें, बट हमें ओवरऑल अपने जो एफर्ट्स का फोकस कहाँ रखना। तो फोकस में कोई कहेगी माई टेक्नोलॉजी तो कहेंगे भाई थोड़ी इस टाइप से ना करो, ये 4 कंपोनेंट बना लो थोड़े से। नंबर 1 तो ये देख लो कि भाई क्या प्रॉब्लम है, आप क्या सोल्यूशन निकालेंगे, और ऊपर से ये देख लीजिए कि आर यू कॉम्पिटेंट और नॉट। क्या कह तो रहे हो, क्या एक्चुअली यू कैन एक्चुअली डू इट। कहना वन थिंग एंड कैन यू एग्जीक्यूट इट, देन थर्ड थिंग। उसके बाद में फिर क्या मार्केट उस चीज के लिए एक्सेप्ट करने को तैयार है या नहीं है। 4 द मोमेंट दीज 4 रिक्वायरमेंट्स आर फुलफिल, देन आइडिया इज द बिजनेस प्रपोजल, बिजनेस प्रोपोजिशन इज कंप्लीट। दैट इज द बेसिकली आइडिया। अब ये चूंकि मेरे से कहा था धर्मेंद्र साहब ने, तो उसमें मैं थोड़ा सा आपको ज्यादा डिटेल, आई नेवर डील विद this data because this is available all the time with everybody. तो ये हमारे पास में कुछ नंबर्स हैं जो इंडिया में है। आप देखो टोटल नंबर ऑफ MSME ऑलमोस्ट हमारे 3 करोड़ है। तो दैट वे देखो तो इट्स ए बिग नंबर है ना। रजिस्टर्ड उसमें आई मीन अनरजिस्टर्ड ऑलमोस्ट मोस्ट ऑफ देम आर अनरजिस्टर्ड। अच्छा एक चीज मैं यहाँ शायद देखता हूँ, मैं लाया हूँ, क्या आपके लिए बता देता हूँ मैं, इंटरेस्टिंग। यहाँ नहीं है वो शायद, मैं पूरे इंडिया का तो नहीं कहता, मैंने हरियाणा का स्टडी कर रहा था। तो जो स्मॉल बिजनेसेस हैं, जो हम माइक्रो एंटरप्राइजेस कहते हैं, वो हरियाणा और पंजाब में रूरल एरिया में ग्रोइंग मच फास्टर देन अर्बन एरियाज। And surprisingly, in Haryana and Punjab, in rural areas, almost 50% of the population in rural area has come out of agriculture. It is a very surprising thing. In villages, more than 50% persons are engaged in non-agricultural activities. In Haryana, this average is almost 60%, and most of them are into some small business or manufacturing or some supply, some trade work, some I mean, machine work, something like this. So these are very interesting things. Now, अब चूंकि फाइनेंस की बातचीत थी, तो ये आप चाहो तो अभी लेटेस्ट डेटा है, कहीं किसी का इंटरेस्ट हो पढ़ाई लिखाई में, तो इट कैन बी यूज्ड कि टोटल डिमांड फॉर फाइनेंस कितना है इंडिया में, उसका कंपोनेंट भी दे रखा है. तो आई थॉट इट टू शेयर विद यू पीपल, है ना. यूएस डॉलर्स में भी है, इंडियन रुपीस में भी है. ये भी आईएफसी है ना, इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंस कॉर्पोरेशन, दे कंडक्टेड एन ए स्टडी. तो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट स्टडी ये फाइंडिंग्स हैं आपकी. अच्छा, ओवरऑल फाइनेंस गैप ये आप देखें तो बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है. टोटल डिमांड फॉर फाइनेंस इज यूएस डॉलर $32.5 billion, नहीं, ये $650 billion is the demand, और सप्लाई कितनी है? $92 billion. So remaining is the gap. तो इंडिया में गैप इज वेरी लार्ज. This is the $560 billion is the gap, and you can see it. Then these are the certain points, small scale industries related. Basically, देखो इसमें मैं आपको ज्यादा डिटेल नहीं करते, हम आपको छोटा सा बता देते हैं. Government support is there. Unfortunately, in India, if a person genuinely wish to be successful in business, they try to avoid government. Why do they avoid government? Because government rules, regulation, procedures are so cumbersome that you would end up fulfilling those forms and having those inspections and satisfying those inspectors rather than doing your business. So interestingly, in India, it is, if somebody is interested in research, being a teacher, you find out successful business rarely take government support, and more fraud type businesses, to say, I mean, to use this word, would always approach government, because they know once I get the money, I can, I mean, siphon off this money. So this is basically the case. As far as policy is concerned, very good policy. Rules are concerned, very good rules. Schemes are concerned, very good schemes. Everywhere you would see. I have done sometime interesting. You visit, simply have observation at DC office. You go there, move around. सैकड़ों दलाल और हजारों आदमी घूमता रहता है कि ये स्कीम में पैसा कैसे मिलेगा, इस स्कीम में पैसा कैसे मिलेगा. मतलब वो कोई लाइफ में प्रोडक्टिव काम नहीं, केवल वो गवर्नमेंट के स्कीम से पैसे लेके और आपके नाम से पैसा ले जाएं या मेरे नाम से ले जाएं या अपने नाम से ले जाएं, वो लोग काम कर रहे हैं. ठीक है ना. बट दैट इज वन डायमेंशन. द थिंग इज, स्कीम्स आर गुड, इंटेंट इज गुड, only and only problem is that because जो फाइनेंस में जो फर्स्ट रिक्वायरमेंट है, दैट रिक्वायरमेंट इज ऑफ कैरेक्टर एंड कंडक्ट. एंड even before character and conduct, the first requirement is ensuring success of business. So until we focus on that, all discussion on finance is useless. So please, you take, I mean, the critical take today is, when we talk of finance, we should not talk about sources of funding. We should talk about whether my business is actually sustainable or not. It can be competitive or not in near future, in long term future. So if your business is competitive, you can prove that your business is competitive, then only money would start coming. And money, if government is not coming forward, government scheme are not, flexible enough to accommodate your project, lot of private projects are there. In private projects, in private sources of funding, believe me, you visit net, Angels network is there, they are helping. One more is there, the Indus Enterprises. They are there. Then they have also social impact capital. They have also started impact capital. I mean, daily you are getting new and new concepts. That is not the, I mean, money is not the bar. Money is not the problem. Problem is your focus, your attitude, that how can you make a project viable. If you are interested in this data, you can have something. Share of top 10 manufacturing industries in MSME. Food, obviously food is one. Textile is two, generally it's known. Then this your in service sector. Inadequate market linkage, then lack of infrastructure. We all know that money is one problem, infrastructure is another problem. You wish to start a business in village, you do not have light, you do not have transport, you do not have number of connectivity, even telephone is not there, net is not there, even in cities light and you are having problem of light. Then managerial competency is also very big issue. Obsolescence in technology is sometimes very critical, sometimes it's not, because a business would use technology that is required in the market. A business would use technology that is required in the market. If market is requiring an outdated technology, I would go for outdated technology. Okay, this is supply of finance and share of institutional, non-institutional, structure of formal debt. I will leave it over here in case you're interested. And somebody, if wish, I can. This is a very, interesting piece of report where all things related to finance. Because you see, once you understand what are the issues, why, what are the gaps, numbers are not important. Only issue over here is, in my opinion, the way I discuss in the class is, I can say $100 billion, $10 billion, but the gap is very wide. In India, it means, you see, inference is that in India, lot of persons are coming forward to start one's business and they are looking for demand. They are looking for money. Money is not available. So if somehow more money can be channeled, more money can be, and that is why Mudra Bank is started by this government. Even that bank is not going to be sufficient for that. We'll have to look for innovative solutions. Innovative solutions can, the best way can be, you see, in India, if you permit me, most unfortunate thing has happened is Indian society has not evolved. Why has it not evolved? In the sense, you see, lot of money lenders are there, lot of shopkeepers, Alatiya are there. And now you see, Alatiya business is going out of business by and by because online things would start. So in other countries, they themselves started having, because they had the money, they started developing linkage with farmers and they started hand holding farmers that you also start, now you also develop. You start this business, I would be partner, we and you together can do this thing. So traditional businesses also co-opted other persons, other sections of society. They shared their expertise, their knowledge, knowledge of the market. They had the money, and other can have the efforts. With this partnership, both progressed. Unfortunately, in our country, the person with money, the person with surplus money in traditional businesses are so conservative that they are not taking to take risk. They are not taking to make any experiment. They are not taking to have partnership with anybody. And beyond their limited category. So otherwise you see, ये जो फ्रूट्स के आड़तिये होते हैं, मैंने पढ़ा पूरी दुनिया में पूरी फूड चेन डेवलप कर दी है उन्होंने. भाई अगर जो आपको पता लगा कि पाकिस्तान वो अमेरिका में what type of grape is required, you advise जो यहाँ ग्रेप करता है कि भाई you take the seed, you sow this, and after 5 years or 2 years or 1 year, you pre-harvesting, post-harvesting, packaging, uski maintenance, somebody can guide you because you are in touch with the market. A farmer is not in touch with the market. So linkage is there, but the sharing of expertise, sharing of knowledge, and that is missing. And unfortunately, today, lot of such type of intermediaries are getting obsolete, irrelevant, but still they are not ready to understand. So if somehow some of them can understand that this market is there and they can tap the market, they are the right guys, because there is no vacuum over there. Someone are there. So this is the crux of the issue. You people again, thank you very much.